Chapter 2: The Economy. The biggest. One of the world's largest open-pit iron mines operates near Hibbing, Minnesota. It is nearly 5 miles long, 1 mile wide, and 500 feet deep. The tallest. The tallest building in the United States is in Chicago. It is the Sears Tower, 110 stories, or 1,454 feet tall. The most. More cars and trucks are made in Michigan cities, such as Detroit and Flint, than in any other state. Because Kansas is the nation's top wheat growing state, it has been called the breadbasket of America. Iron ore from pit to ship. People in the Midwest make their living in so many different ways. We're going to visit mines, factories, and farms. We will learn about the economy of the Midwest, how the region uses its resources, goods, and services. First, we're going to visit the biggest hole ever dug in the ground. It's the Hall Rust Mine in the Mesabi Range in Minnesota. If your school is 1 story high, it would take 50 of them stacked on top of each other to reach the top of this pit. Billions of tons of iron mined in Minnesota help turn the United States into an industrial giant. Huge dump trucks carry iron ore from the mine to train cars. Then the trains travel to Lake Superior, where the ore is loaded onto freighters, big ships that transport goods. Ship to shore. The freighter takes the iron ore through Lake Superior, Lake Huron, and Lake Michigan to Chicago. There is only one problem. Lake Superior is 21 feet higher than Lake Huron. Once tumbling rapids connecting the two lakes. No ship could travel between them. Today, the Soo Canal lets ships pass between the two lakes. Here's how the canal works. A ship enters one of the canal's locks, a stretch of water enclosed by gates. The gates close and the water level and the ship slowly drop 21 feet. Now, the water is at the same level as the water ahead. The gate opens and the ship moves on. A lock is like a giant elevator for ships. Chicago. For more than 100 years, Minnesota iron has been shipped to Chicago, the biggest transportation center in the country. In no other part of the country do railroad yards handle as much freight. Coal from the southeast is transported here by train. In Chicago's huge mills, iron and coal are used to make steel. Steel is used to make bridges, cars, and skyscrapers. A manufacturing belt. Chicago is not the only place in the Midwest where steel is made. Shiploads of iron and trainloads of coal have made many Great Lakes cities into industrial giants. Cities like Milwaukee, Detroit, Toledo, and Cleveland are all manufacturing centers. Find them on the map at page 14. They are all located in a wide row as if they were a belt. Let's go to Detroit next. If you like cars, you'll love Detroit. It's called Motor City. Cadillacs, Lincolns, and Oldsmobiles are all made here. And the most famous car in history, the Model T Ford, was made in Detroit too. The Model T was not just a car. It changed the way Americans lived and worked. Most early cars were handmade and were very expensive. Only rich people could buy them. But young Henry Ford had a crazy idea. He wanted to make a good car that working people could afford to buy. In 1908, his first Model T cost $825. That was still more than most people made in a whole year. Ford stuck to his dream. By 1915, he was selling cars for $440, and by 1924, for $290. Ford's dream had come true. Now, let's head out to a different sort of belt, the dairy belt. The dairy belt. How many glasses of milk do you drink in one day? Let's say it's 2 glasses. Now, multiply that number by the number of kids under 18 years in the United States. That's about 70 million kids times 2 glasses of milk. Where does all that milk come from? There are dairy cows in every state of the Midwest. Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan have so many cows that the region is often called the Dairy Belt. Let's take a closer look at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of the leading states in milk production. Over 1,300,000 cows call this state home. Just one cow produces about 1,800 gallons of milk a year. Milk can't be stored for very long, but cheese can. So, lots of milk produced in the Midwest is made into cheese. Wisconsin cheese is shipped to every state and to many other parts of the world. Now, let's head off to Iowa, the center of still another belt. Look at the map on page 19 and see if you can guess the name of this belt. The Corn Belt. Imagine that you're standing in the middle of an Iowa cornfield. As far as you can see are fields of green. The plants are tall with what looks like big green rabbit ears growing on them. These rabbit ears are ears of corn. Millions of them are grown from end of this corn belt to the other. Look at the map on the next page. What states are in the Corn Belt? How much corn do you think you eat a year? Think about corn on the cob, grits, cornbread, corn tortillas and tacos, corn chips, and then, of course, popcorn. Most Americans eat about 70 pounds of corn in 1 year. That's not enough to consume all the corn grown in the Midwest. Do you know what happens to all of the rest? Some corn is sent to countries around the world, but most of the extra corn is eaten by beef cattle and pigs. They just love it and eat lots of it. So the Corn Belt is also the beef belt and the hog belt. Now we're going farther west to see another belt. If you think that the Midwest has more belts than any other region, I think you're right. The Wheat Belt. We're out on the Great Plains now, in the Wheat Belt. This belt stretches from North Dakota to Kansas. These rolling plains were once vast grasslands with few trees. When settlers began to arrive on the prairie, no wheat grew here, but the newly arrived farmers planted wheat on the ancient grasslands. Soon, the region changed. The prairie was turned into wheat fields. Today, Midwesterners grow almost 1 billion bushels of wheat a year. That's enough to make all of our bread and cereals with enough left over to export to other countries.